Hey, what's up? I'm Coach Ryan Family. I'm out in the VIPAR pit today. I want to talk to you about how to set up chains properly for the bench press. This current setup that you see is actually improper, but I'm going to show you why it doesn't work very well in just a minute. First of all, why on earth would you put chains on a barbell for a bench press? Isn't that what the plate's for, to add weight? Well, what's unique about chains is if you use them properly on the barbell, you'll have a certain weight at the top, and then as you go to your chest, the chains will go down to the floor, making the total weight lighter. And then as you press up, it's going to get incrementally heavier as you lift the chains off the floor. This is called accommodating resistance. And one of the reasons you use this, one, you could do it for speed. So if you're trying to train acceleration so that you don't have to slow down at the end, so the bar doesn't fly out of your hands. But the other reason too is because in the normal strength curve of a bench press, it's hardest at the bottom when the bar's at your chest, and then as you push to lockout, it gets easier. So what this does, by getting the right amount of chain weight, it overloads the top position of the bench press more, which is going to put a bigger stress on your triceps. So you're going to have bigger, stronger, more powerful triceps. The other thing it does, it trains the brain, the nervous system to perceive heavier weights as being lighter. For example, let's say, and I'm just going to use some basic numbers here. Let's say your max in the bench is 225, for example. Now let's say you train with chains and you have it, and you want to use a combination of bar weight and chain weight. Just to be clear, you want to have a set weight on the bar and then increase the load with chains. So let's say you have 185 pounds on the bar, which is well within your capability, but then you add chains so that when the bar's on your chest, it's 185, but then when you lock it out, maybe it's 275 due to maybe you have 100 pounds of chain load on there. Well, that trains your brain now to 275 is the new norm and you're successful with it. So let's say you go in a couple weeks after chain training and you go to bench press, let's say 235, you're gonna unrack it and it's gonna feel easier to your brain and your nervous system because you've been overloading with chains. So I'm a huge, huge fan of chains. For people that want to develop big, powerful triceps, I love bench presses where you have a very, very tiny amount of bar weight and a metric brick ton of chain weight on the bar so that you get a really big contrast. It would probably be too long and out of the scope of this video to talk about the different ways to set up minimal chain contrast versus big chain contrast. But maybe I'll do that in a future video, but just know that like one of my favorites for triceps, let's say for a 400-pound bencher, is to only put maybe 135 to 185 on the bar and then stack chains a ton so that you have a light weight at the bottom, and as you press it gets over 400, 500 pounds. That's how you do it. So let's look, first of all, enough about this. The point of this is to teach you how to set up. Let's look first of all why this is incorrect. So a lot of people will dangle one long chain from the top of the bar. And you would think that would be effective and it looks cool, looks a little hardcore, but what's happening, let's say this main heavy chain weighs 30 pounds, and let's say there's 30 links. That means that each link weighs approximately 1 pound. With this setup, you're only gonna have 4 to 5 links that load onto the ground as you lower the bar. So you're only getting a change from the bottom to the top of about 4 to 5 pounds, and I'll show you what this looks like. So the weight, a lot of the chain weight's on the bar right here. As I lower it down, some of the chain gets loaded to the floor, and then you lift back up and it comes back up. And quite honestly, that was not much of a difference from chest to lockout. Now, I want to dive in and show you how to set it up properly. Now, the first thing we want to look at is the chain. With the bad setup version, the weight is hanging solely from the top. What you want to do is take your carabiner clip and find the middle of the chain. So you want to put it in the dead center of the chain so that they're nice and even, and now they're doubled over. So this is your weight chain that you're going to use to create overload. Then you need what's called a feeder chain or a feeder strap to help you attach the chains at a proper height so that you get good unloading and loading back onto the bar. So these are made by Elite FTS. They're specifically for chain training. They're called chain loaders. You can also use something called daisy chains, which is another thing, or you can just get a small, like really tiny chain and make a loop out of it with a carabiner, and then loop these chains in that. Any of those methods will work. Now, if you look what happens, the chains are doubled over and they are now lower to the ground. So more weight is going to come off the bar when I go to press this. So now, we get a lot more weight onto the bar when the bar's at my chest, and a lot more in the hands at lockout. That is what's going to give you a bigger difference between bar weight at the chest, bar weight at lockout, especially if you have 4, 5, 8, 10 chains aside. Then it's going to be very dramatic, the difference between lockout at the chest, okay? I hope this gives you some good feedback and good tips on how to properly train your triceps and how to train speed work with chains for the bench press. I'm Coach Ryan Family from the VIPAR Pit. If you like this video, please hit subscribe below. See you next time. Peace.